Now we are talking about the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Guess who we have joining us live on the program, live from Perth, one half of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Sunil Gavaskar joins us live. Sunil, the 10th win that India has got on Australian soil. You've been part of some, you've witnessed the others as a commentator. Where does this one rank?
Well, this one ranks, very, very high because, after being dismissed for 150, to come back in the manner that this Indian team has done is really, really praiseworthy.
Saima, I'm just not going to talk about, India versus Australia, but in general, can you remember in the recent past or in your living memory, a team dismantle an Australian team on Australian soil, the manner in which this Indian team has done? Because yes, Australia has lost by bigger margins. This is not the biggest, victory margin, but in the manner in which India dominated, pretty much dominating all sessions of the test match, barring those first two sessions where they were out for 150 that you talk about.
Yes, I think so. I think in 1977-78, India defeated Australia by an innings
Yeah.
at Sydney.
Sydney.
Before that, I think at Melbourne, they won by also a massive margin, about 220 odd runs. So, yes, I think India has had wins. And I understand public memory is short, and who's going to go back, almost 50 years. But yes, I think India has had some pretty good victories then as well.
Saibhai, you think one other reason, and not just the victory margin, one other reason that we're celebrating this win so much is the fact that, you lost 3-0 at home. You had your backs against the wall. Then we heard stories from Australia that they're going to be preparing these bouncy, spicy pitches, more experienced bowling lineup that Australia has. How is it that this fragile Indian batting lineup going to deal with it? And then they deal with it in this fashion. That's what adds to the charm of this win?
Definitely, yes. Particularly because, the team was dismissed for 150. And the way they came back in the second innings, that 200-run opening partnership, people don't even talk about that opening partnership. But that partnership was the one that gave India the belief that they can go on and dominate this attack later on. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why I think this massive margin, this is the biggest margin that India has won if you discount the innings victory at Sydney. But I can't recall any other victory against Australia in Australia which has been as big as this one.
And just to reiterate, the kind of impact or the mental scars that the Indian team would have left on this Australian team. Saibai, there's this massive controversy brewing in Australia after those comments by Josh Hazlewood. At the end of day 3, he was asked, can you chase it down? I know it was a massive target. He went on to say, no, I'm already thinking about the second test match. And that seems unusual for an Australian team. Yes, they've lost many a times before, but seldom do we hear an Australian player give up while the test match is on. Do you think that kind of reflects the kind of scars that may have been left by this Indian team's performance?
I think you're just being realistic. You're asked to chase almost 550 runs. You've lost 3 wickets, including two top players. So you're naturally going to know that this 500 mark is not going to be possible. So I think he was just being realistic about it. Maybe fast bowlers are generally not very diplomatic. So he probably wasn't very diplomatic when he said that. But I mean, he would have looked silly if he had said, "Oh no, we are going to chase 550 runs." We've heard that from the England team earlier on. Remember, earlier in the year they said, even if we have to chase 600, we will do it, and they were then folding up for 150. They were looking very silly. So I think he was just avoiding that.
Okay, let's take a look at some individual performances, Sanibai. And in this particular game, 3 really standout performers. In fact, 4 if you look at it. KL Rahul with a good performance in both innings. Virat Kohli getting that 100. Jasprit Bumrah 8 wickets, and Yashasvi Jaiswal with a daddy 100 that he got, almost closing in on a double 100. The man of the match is Jasprit Bumrah, but post the game, he was asked about his man of the match award, and Bumrah said that, listen, if it was up to me, I would have given it to a young Yashasvi Jaiswal. What do you make of the captain's assessment on the man of the match?
Well, I think this is what captaincy is all about. He's had a huge role to play, absolutely massive role to play. But he's encouraging a younger player by saying his knock of 161 gave India the platform. His partnership with KL Rahul of 200 plus was the one that gave India the platform. So clearly, I think he's trying to encourage his young man, and there would be a touch of disappointment for the young man as well. Like you said, he's got a daddy 100, 161. He would have expected to be somewhere close, but you have somebody who's taken 8 wickets in the game, and you can't really ignore that. More than taking 8 wickets, the way he brought India back in that first innings with that spell, where India, despite scoring only 150, took a lead of 46 runs.
That's one aspect of Jasprit Bumrah that really helped India win this particular test match anyway. That's his bowling, outstanding as he is. Jasprit Bumrah, the captain, didn't have a great start to his captaincy career in England, but now has had this win. You see a future test captain in Jasprit Bumrah?
Yes, I think what he's only 30, so yes, clearly I think he has shown that he can handle the cares of captaincy. Today, also the way he made the bowling changes, that also tells you that he is putting a lot of thought in all his moves, and once again disproving all that bakwas that goes on, that fast bowlers aren't good captains. In our subcontinent itself, we've got Imran Khan, the fast bowler, who's been a fabulous captain, and we've got Kapil Dev, two top class captains, excellent captains. So fast bowlers can also make good captains.
It's interesting you talk about Sahibhai bowlers. Two test match victories India has got in their history at Perth. Both came under bowlers. Anil Kumble, 2008. And once again, you've got Jasprit Bumrah do it. So not a fast bowler, but at least a bowler. Sorry, Sahibhai, did you want to say something?
No, I'm good.
Ah, okay, I thought you wanted to make a point. Okay, just getting back to those performances, now going to Yashasvi Jaiswal as well. He has been outstanding in the short career that he's had, whether it's white ball, whether it's red ball cricket. If there was only one criticism that came his way, and especially after that South Africa series, that he can handle test cricket in good batting conditions. Can he really handle conditions when the ball's going past your nose? He's done that here at Perth. So that final box that he needed to tick has been ticked for him.
Yes, you could say that. He's. I would say it's a half tick at the moment. There are 4 test matches to go, and one would like to see him get a couple more hundreds, if not more, because a couple more hundreds from his bat will definitely mean that India will get to at least 290, 300 every single time, because he's also one of those who'll score daddy hundreds. So yes, I think you could say that half a tick at the moment, because this is just the first test. But let's hope, and I'm pretty certain with the kind of temperament that he has. You see, technique is one thing, but what I've seen about his temperament, that's very impressive, very very impressive.
Saiba, we are miles away. You were there in Perth. So there was this one little debate that everyone here in India is having. First innings, we realized that, the pitch was doing a lot. There was a lot of deviation, a lot of lateral movement. So, batters from both sides struggled. The pitch did ease out. India did rather well. What do you think went wrong for Australia? Was the pitch beginning to deteriorate? That's what caused their collapse in the second innings? Or do you think the Indian bowlers were far more superior than the Australians?
No, they were far more superior. You show me where the pitch misbehaved for India's wickets. Nothing. All the bowlers bowled brilliantly, and therefore I think credit has to be given to the bowlers. We ended up scoring almost 400 almost 500 runs. So if we could have done, then the Australians, with the kind of batting lineup that they boast of, could have got at least 350 chasing. They were not able to do that because our bowlers were just simply too good.
Okay, let's talk about another man of the moment, Virat Kohli, getting his 100, his 30th Test 100. One thing that we saw while watching his innings on television, Sanibhai, brought that sweep we hadn't seen for a very long time. Got that reverse sweep as well. Did you see a different version of Virat Kohli in this innings?
The second half, definitely. Second half, definitely, because as you said, we very seldom see him play the sweep shot. That's only because his footwork is so good. Those whose footwork is so good don't need to sweep because they can get to the pitch of the ball and drive it past mid on or mid wicket for a boundary. So you don't need to use the sweep shot. And very seldom have we seen him use the reverse sweep. So that's a good thing. And it also tells you that, as you as your experience grows, you do not tend to sort of stick to what you know. That is also good, but you can widen and increase the repertoire of your shots, and that is what he's doing, and which is going to be fantastic, not just for him, but for the teams that he plays for. Because now, when earlier on people used to say, why keep a backward point for him? He hardly ever plays the reverse sweep. Now, because he's playing the reverse sweep, they will need a man over there. They hardly ever kept a deep fine leg. They would keep a square leg towards mid wicket, because if he would play the pull shot, but not the sweep shot. Now, where are you going to stop him? So that's why I think these two additional shots that he's added is only going to make him even more consistent and even more destructive.
The fact that Saima, he's got 100 in the very first test match in a 5-test match series, what does this mean for the series ahead?
I think what it means is that India will be hard to stop. India will be hard to stop. To be perfectly honest, even before the series started, I had my little doubts because of the first test being played at Perth, how our players will cope up with it. And in the first innings, those doubts proved right. But again, in the second innings, and the way our bowlers brought the team back, that is what gave our batters the belief. Hang on a minute, the bowlers have done the job. We get the kudos all the time. Let us now give our bowlers a huge total, lots of runs in the bank, and so we can have more of an attacking field.
Just an extension of that question, Sahibai. I remember speaking to you before this test match series started, and India needed to win at least 4 test matches in Australia to qualify for the WTC final. At that moment, you were absolutely realistic. You said, no chance 4-0. Do you see there's a glimmer of hope? Do you see that happening, or am I getting a little ahead of myself?
Well, now with this kind of a win, why not? I think there is more than a glimmer of hope with this win, with the way everybody has contributed. Have a look at this team's performance. Everybody has done something or the other. Today, Dhruv Jurel took that lovely catch, reflex action catch. He hadn't
Yeah.
scored runs with the bat, but that reflex action catch to dismiss Mitchell Stark, who can be a stubborn customer, also showed that every player in this 11 has made a contribution. And that's always good to know that you have got players who have now the confidence of having done well in the test. So when it again for the remainder of the series, they will believe that they can do it again.
Final question on this test match, Sanibai. We'll, of course, try and touch upon the IPL auction as well. But Rohit Sharma is already there. We've seen him practice against the pink ball. Most likely he slots into the 11 next test match. If Shubman Gill is fit, if Gill is fit, Rohit Sharma is back into the 11. So 2 players coming in. Who are the 2 players that go out for you then?
I think Devdutt Padikkal and Jurel. These are the two who will make way for Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. That looks the most likely scenario.
And your captain is Rohit Sharma? Sanibai, can you hear me? And your captain is Rohit Sharma? Okay, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Gavaskar. Meanwhile, let's quickly show you what has actually happened in the IPL auction. And the big headline maker, of course, is Rishabh Pant, who fetched the most amount of money in the history of IPL auctions. So we're taking a look at that right now on our screens. And you've got even someone like a Shreyas Iyer right behind Rishabh Pant, slotting in at 26.75 CR. Rishabh Pant is there at 27, and then you've got Venkatesh Iyer at 23.75, Arshdeep at 18, and Yuzvendra Chahal at 18. These are your top 5 buys so far in the IPL auction. Saibhai, what have you made of the auction so far? And I'm focusing on these 5 big buys. Rishabh Pant going to Lucknow, Venkatesh Iyer going for 23.75 CR, 2 big talking points. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's good luck to them. I mean, they've got the big bucks. That is fantastic for them. And now they've got to give back that much worth to the franchise. That's what they've got to do. I only hope that sometimes when you've been bought for such a lot of money, There is a lot of pressure to live up to that. As long as they perform, I don't think there should be too much of an issue at all.
All right, Mr. Gavaskar, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us from Perth. Of course, the Indian bandwagon now moves to Adelaide. It's going to be a pink ball test match, but a big gap there between the first and the second test match. Will it allow Australia to regroup, come back, or will it only strengthen the resolve that the Indian team has? We'll wait and watch.